Yo, 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 what it do, man? What it do? We are back, excuse me, with another live episode, another pod. Um, gonna talk about a few things. Gonna be talking about some of the takeaways from the games over the past weekend. We had some great matchups over the weekend in the NBA. Gonna talk a little bit about that. Also saw that Jason Tatum is set to return. Excuse me, going to talk a little bit about that as well. And we're going to talk about how Laker fans are now coping by lying about Luka Doncic. Um, I'm going to touch on that. I saw something very nasty, and I see this narrative picking up very nasty about Luka Doncic and the expectations of Luka prior to getting on the Lakers. But let us start with these games, man. Let us start with these games. If you are new here, make sure that you like and subscribe. Like and subscribe if you're new here. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure that you hit that like button for me. Hit that like button, like the stream if you're here in the live chat. Now, first game, I kind of already touched on the Denver OKC matchup. We did a recap video about that. I want to talk about the Spurs and the Knicks. That's the game that I want to talk about. The Spurs and the Knicks. I felt like yet again what I've been saying about this Knicks team all year. When they're at their best, they can play with everybody in the league. When they're at their best, they're one of the best teams in the league, right? And we saw that on full display in that Spurs matchup yesterday around noontime on Sunday. Mikal Bridges was absolutely fantastic for them. I think he did a phenomenal job on De'Aaron Fox. He was able to spark some transition possessions for them. He was able to hit open shots consistently from mid range and from three. Um, I think Mitchell Robinson did about as good of a job that he could do on Jokic. He was physical with him. Karl Anthony Towns really abused the offensive glass against some of the smaller lineups. One thing I was definitely noticing is when New York did kind of drag Wemby away from the basket, whether that was putting him in action or anything of the sort, that back line rebounding for the San Antonio Spurs against the bigger front court in New York was struggling to get rebounds. And so if I'm not mistaken, the possessions battle was heavily won by the New York Knicks. If you look at, let me see here. If you look at some of the key things that you look at as far as the possession battle, right? The Spurs had 22 turnovers and the Knicks only had 13, right? So nine more turnovers for the Spurs. And then on top of that, when you look at the glass, right? San Antonio had 41 rebounds, the Knicks had 54, and the Knicks had 18 offensive rebounds as well. Five coming from Karl Anthony Towns, two coming from OG. Hart had another three. Mikal Bridges had two. Mitchell Robinson had two. Right. So they killed him on the glass. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough to beat a team when they are turning you over and they're rebounding the ball on the offensive side at that high of a clip. Is going to be tough. You're losing the possession battle. And then on top of that, I'm pretty sure, let me see here, they also hit eight more threes than San Antonio too, right? So you outscore them by 24 at the 3-point line. You out rebound them on the offensive glass. You get 18 extra possessions, and then you turn the team over 22 times. You're gonna win the game, right? There, I don't know if there's, I don't know if that's happened if you lose. Crash the glass, hit more threes, first force turnovers. So that's kind of the result that we saw of the turnovers. I did see that Wemby had 7 of them by himself. How y'all feeling about Wemby against these playoff teams and these playoff defenses? All right. Wemby doesn't look all that great offensively against some of these better teams, but to each his own. I'm already labeled a Wemby hater, so I don't want to go further into that tangent. Again, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure you like the stream, like the stream, like the stream if you haven't subscribed, if you're not subscribed. One thing for sure for San Antonio, come playoff time, they're going to need De'Aaron Fox to be a far more aggressive offensive player. I get that he tries to do his, oh, I'm a team player gimmick and go sit in the corner for Dylan Harper and go sit in the corner for Stephon Castle. But come playoff time, they cannot have De'Aaron Fox be a 20-point-per-game scorer. They're going to need De'Aaron Fox to be a 25-plus per game scorer. I'm already seeing that. And so I don't know what it is. He kind of, I just don't understand this about Fox. He is such a better player when he's aggressive. A way better player when he's aggressive. And the fact that he has these moments where he just wanes and it looks like he's just floating through a basketball game, that's not going to cut it for San Antonio to win real high stake, high leverage basketball. That's not going to be enough. They need more from De'Aaron Fox. They need him to be one of the better guards in the league, which I believe he is. And he definitely has the capability. But he has to be more aggressive in hunting his shot attempts, trying to get downhill. He just has to be a far more aggressive player offensively for San Antonio to hit the heights that some people are projecting them to hit. As far as the Denver Nugget Minnesota game, a few things that stood out to me about that game, you know, all trolls aside, you know what I'm saying? Over here, y'all hear, you know, we talk basketball over here. You feel me? We talk basketball over here. Denver has some problems I don't think Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson solve defensively. I know that Valanciunas is going to get a lot of the flack, but the truth of the matter is they have two centers Their two centers are not good defensive players. They bring it back, play back. What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about? Back to what I was saying though. Their two centers are bad defensive players. And so something that I noticed in the Timberwolves game, late in the first quarter, they made this substitution where Naz Reid and Julius Randle were on the court, and they got Rudy Gobert off the court, right? That lineup very quickly, it wasn't on there for long, but it was a good lineup offensively. Now, it didn't bear out on the scoreboard because I did see like Bones threw a pass to Io. Io lets it slip and go through his hands or whatever. They had like a couple like bonehead plays that, you know, affected how the metrics will look or whatever. But whenever they had a good set, whenever they ran a set, they scored, right? So whenever I remember Julius and Ant were doing two-man game. Now, Nikola Jokic is guarding Julius Randle. Again, there's no Rudy Gobert on the court, right? So Ant throws it to Julius. He chases. He gets the ball back. Jokic is in, I guess, some version of a drop, whatever he calls it. And Ant just goes by him like his feet are in cement. Just goes right by him like he was standing still, because he actually was. He can't move his feet. They have two centers that cannot move their feet whatsoever. And then they're also not good rim protectors, both of them. And a lot of these better teams in the West have a big that plays from the perimeter. Right? If the Spurs see Denver, Wemby is going to be at the three-point line. Right? The Timberwolves, although Rudy Gobert isn't a perimeter threat, he does set a lot of screens for their ball handlers who are good pull-up shooters. Got to somewhat try to be able to be up on that. I saw a lot of the times, though, they just tried to blitz Ant when he ran pick and roll, get the ball out of his hands. And I don't know. I feel like some of the Timberwolves, in my opinion, if you put them in a 7-game sample size, there's too much offensive talent on that team to constantly put Ant or that back line, especially if your back line is as weak as Denver's, constantly put Denver's back line at a disadvantage. Even with Peyton Watson and Aaron Gordon. I'm sorry. Like, they improved the defense for sure, don't get me wrong. But this is the cost of, instead of your defense being something to collectively work together as a cohesive unit, you're trying to do that and hide a player. That is hard to do. Has it been done before? Yes. That still doesn't mean it's not hard to do, especially against a team that can operate in space, against teams that have multiple offensive weapons that can attack closeouts and make good rim decisions, put the ball on the floor a little bit, shoot a three. Like that, that's hard. That's hard. It's hard to do. Again, has it been done? Yes. That doesn't mean it's not hard to do. And a lot of Denver playing good defense, if you go watch them, it's a lot of, hey, we just hope old boy in the corner's missing. Go rewatch that. Go rewatch the series that we've played. The Lakers have played against Denver. And look at D'Angelo Russell missing wide open shots. Rui Hachimura missing wide open shots. This is like some great defense being played. It's like people are missing shots. And if that's going to be the barometer of you playing good defense, I guess. To me, that's not how good defense works. Especially if it's you coming down to leaving open good shooters. Rui Hachimura is a good shooter who was missing, and he was a good shooter. Same with D'Angelo Russell. Like, that's not, nah. And it wasn't even like, oh, they're necessarily getting a hard closeout. Just Because that's something OKC does load up, but OKC is very athletic and fast as a defense, and they still get up a contest. Like there's a difference between, hey, we're gonna let a poor shooter shoot and give him like a slight contest, and what Denver does, which is like, oh yeah, just leave him butt naked open. So like betting on NBA players to miss those kind of shots over and over and over again is a hell of a bet. Now, sometimes it works out for you, but we shall see. I do not like their center rotation defensively. We were saying, even when we heard that the Nuggets had acquired Jonas Valanciunas, some of us were saying, hey, he gets played off the court in the playoffs. We were told we were hating and to shut up. Capiche. Capiche. Right? Cam Johnson was supposed to be this revelation. Now they're complaining about him. Right? Bruce Brown's better than Russell Westbrook. Remember? Remember? Remember. So, I don't know, man. Um, I am seeing as well as y'all see in the title, I have top 5 title contenders. Number 1 for me would still be OKC. Right? OKC would still be my number 1 title contender. Y'all saw them this weekend. I like their showing against the Nuggets. You know, the Nuggets, every game the Nuggets play, it gets brought up how Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson are playing. But mind you, OKC beat them, number 1, without Shea even playing in the overtime, which I'm not going to lie, that low key is concerning for Denver. I'm sorry, that is. And it's low key a flex by OKC. They're like, actually, Shea, don't worry about it. We got it. Don't worry about it. We got it. Don't worry about it. It's just Jokic and Murray. It's no big deal. We got that, Shea. Don't even worry about it. And he sat down and they proceeded to still beat the Nuggets. Right. But AJ Mitchell didn't play and Jalen Williams didn't play. So all that, hey, Aaron Gordon, Peyton Watson, it's like, yeah, 2 of OKC's better players didn't play as well. An all NBA player is still coming back for that team. Now, hopefully, J-Dub, he kind of started off slow when he first came back due to injury. It might be more of the same when he comes back this time as well. We shall see. I'm just praying that he can get healthy and back to himself. Um, that's going to be vital come playoff time, in my opinion, for OKC. Right, but of the title contenders, well, as far as who are my top 5 title contenders, number 1, I got OKC. Number 2, and when I'm ranking these, I'm not ranking them like, oh well, this team can't be that high because they're in the same. I'm basically saying I think these are going to be the 5 best playoff teams. Okay, number 1, OKC. Number 2, Minnesota. Number 3, the Spurs. Number 4, the Knicks. And number 5, Detroit. Those would be my 5 title contending teams. Yeah. And I know a lot of people think I'm high on Minnesota. I'm sorry. I just believe in their philosophy. I believe in their talent. I believe in that version of basketball. Shout out to the 100 plus we have here. Make sure that y'all like the stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Make sure you like the stream. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Turn the notification bell on so you know we're live and when we drop another video. Right? I'm going to explain again my Timberwolves belief. I know that y'all don't see it or whatnot. That game against the Nuggets kind of confirmed my beliefs about the Timberwolves. Every time I see them play elite competition, it's like, oh yeah, that's the team I'm talking about right there. Every single time. Every time they have one of these matchups, it's like, oh yeah, there's the team I be talking about right there. Right? How good they were defensively against the Nuggets. How good Jaden McDaniels was in that game. I'm upset that we didn't really talk about the game, this game and the Spurs game. Jaden McDaniels in that game was fantastic. And Jaden McDaniels making this leap as an offensive player is a real aggregate plus for Minnesota. Like him being this good when he has his one-on-one opportunities, this good when he has a mismatch, being able to put the ball on the floor and attack, get into the paint, get to his mini pull-up game. Naz Reid is just a very skilled big that is a rarity in the league. It's not too many 6'9", 6'10" guys doing what Naz Reid does. It's just not. Jaden McDaniels is 6'9", and he moves like that. Dante DiVincenzo, basically the last, we'll just say like kind of since January, back being a sniper from 3 and constantly gives effort on the defensive end. And then, bro, Anthony Edwards, I don't know how y'all not seeing, and I don't know. Again, maybe this is me being a fan or whatnot. I Bro, Anthony Edwards is one of the 3 best scorers in the world now, and him drawing all of that attention on a roster that has enough offensive talent around him, I'm sorry, that is just hard to guard, bro. It's going to be hard to guard. They have Io now. Io's one of the better 3-point shooters in the league as well. Another athlete that can guard, that can hit a 3. So it's like, I don't, man, Minnesota's going to be a tough out for everybody in the Western Conference. They have the experience. Their best player has gotten better, which is always a surplus. They have good shooting. They have good defenders. They have an anchor defensively. If Minnesota and the Spurs match up in a series in the playoffs, I'm picking Minnesota. I believe in their team more. They have experience. I believe in their best player offensively more than I do San Antonio. I believe that they'll offer more solutions to San Antonio's defense than San Antonio's able to offer solutions for Minnesota's. I truly believe that. I don't think Denver can guard Minnesota. I really don't. Christian Brown can, and they know that, which is why they were doubling Ant at half court. Did y'all see that? They were doubling Ant at half. By the way, I absolutely loved how Anthony Edwards played yesterday against the Nuggets. He did not force anything. He was saying, hey, if y'all going to double, I'm going to accept the double, get the ball out of my hand. Right? Because something that getting doubled, especially for a score, right? Getting doubled like that, what they also want the doubles to lead to, which, not only just him getting the ball out of his hand and potentially turning him over if he's not the greatest of passers, right? They also hope that leads to you shooting bad shots, shooting over the double. You see what I'm saying? But Ant didn't do that. Ant handled ball pressure. He handled doubles. He got rid of the ball. Only 2 turnovers yesterday for Anthony Edwards in the game. 2. Right? And again, when he gets doubled, I do believe Minnesota should be good enough to win on the back end in the form 4 versus 3. Right? Who is he getting pressured by? Were you not watching the game? They were ball pressuring him and doubling him. Right? He didn't press. I hate that he shot that last 3 when the game didn't matter and he missed it. So now instead of being 9 of 18, which is 50% from the field, he was 9 of 19. Right. Instead of being 3 for 8 from 3, which is 37.5%, he went to 33 because he missed some meaningless 3 when the game was already over. You know what I'm saying? Messing up the stats. Messing up the stats. Stop messing up the stats, man. You know what I'm saying? We need this 50-40, not 50-40 season. He ain't got the 90 part, but we can get to 50-40 though. We can get to 50-40. Julius Randle also started figuring it out. See, one thing also, when you're doubling that high, and again, this is what I'm saying with Minnesota as the good enough offensive players. When you're doubling that far away from the basket, as soon as we do make a release valve pass, whether that's to the short roll, if you blitz the pick and roll ball handler and whatnot, or if it's a quick swing to the next available wing, strong side or weak. Look at how Jaden McDaniels was scoring yesterday. Look at some of the drives Julius Randle had. It's again, You're doubling that high. And now, so when they get the ball, they know, hey, I'm in a one-on-one situation. Jaden McDaniels was getting the ball going right at whoever was in front of him. It's the one person I got to beat. They've already doubled, and they're doubling 30-something feet away from the basket. If I get the ball and attack quickly, I can score. Julius Randle, whenever Nikola Jokic is in front of him, should see nothing but barbecue Serbian. That's all he should see. Barbecue Serbian. It's time to go to work. And you ain't got to make a whole bunch of moves. Put the ball in your left hand and go. That's it. But yeah, go look at the buckets Jaden McDaniels got. Go look at some of the buckets Nas got. Go look at some of the buckets Julius got. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about trusting Julius Randle as a second option with this good of a defense behind him and Ant being that good. Yeah. Yeah. Now, as far as Randle against OKC, it can get spooky. That can definitely get spooky. Right? That right? And everybody's so quick to harp on Julius Randle. And we saw that last year against OKC. Did you see him against Golden State, though? Hello. See, nobody see when y'all have a narrative painted about a player, then you'll just bring up what already fits in that narrative. You don't draw outside the lines, right? Bringing up that Warrior series for y'all would be coloring outside the line. So you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't bring up his Lakers series. You don't do that. Right? It's just, oh, he was bad against the greatest defense ever. Bro said the Curryless Warriors, as if that has something to do with him beating his Draymond Green matchup. I didn't say, hey, look, he won the series. I said, look how he played. Steph Curry isn't guarding Julius Randle. So, again, over here we talk hoop. If you want to be dumb, you leave dumb to somewhere else. You go somewhere else. Go to Twitter or something. Steph Curry is not dictating how well Julius Randle performs as an offensive player. So be dumb somewhere else. All right? All right. So I gave my top 5 contenders, correct? OKC, Timberwolves 2, Spurs 3. I really like the Spurs. I'm just concerned about them as an offensive unit in the West. As great as their defense is, some of these offenses and offensive players in the West are still going to find ways to put the ball in the basket. And so I worry about their ability to keep up. I worry about San Antonio's ability to put the ball in the basket at a proficient enough clip. That's my one concern about them. Also, because I'm not there with Wemby as an offensive player. That has been my one critique of him. It's been called hate, but I'm just standing on that. I don't think Victor Wembanyama in these playoff settings against good teams I don't see it. I don't see it. Which I then think, now maybe Stephon Castle has a good 3-point playoff run. And these things are possible, right? I can definitely see a world where Stephon Castle is Andrew Nimhard, right? Right, where he goes into the playoffs and all of a sudden Castle's hitting 40% of his threes, playing great point of attack defense, handling the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like that's in the realm of possibility. I'm not gonna lie. It is. But what I said, and I still think to be true, the Spurs want to do something. It's going to come down to De'Aaron Fox playing to a level in which he just hasn't been consistently this year, in my opinion, especially when it comes to his aggression. I just that would be my one concern for San Antonio. At number 4, I have the Knicks. Um, I tried to get there with Detroit, y'all. I wanted to put some real respect on Detroit's name. I was like, you know what? How many times can I see Detroit mollywop the Knicks in this regular season and be like, oh man, the Knicks are still better? But yet here I am. Yet here I am still believing that the Knicks are they're a better team. They're a better team. Meaning to me, you have Detroit at their best, the Knicks at their best. I got the Knicks. I got the Knicks. I'm sorry. I think Detroit heavily will regret not getting some kind of offensive support for Cade Cunningham during the trade deadline. I think that's going to come back to bite them in the arse come playoff time. I really do. Um, it's a lot they're asking of Cade to do. A lot. They're asking a lot of Cade. Hey, be our ball handler, be the playmaker, be the passer, and be the best scorer. It's like they're asking him to do a lot. Also, I just don't think he's that level of offensive player yet. Potentially, maybe in the future, but just not right now. I don't know. Of the 5 teams that I listed, I have the hardest time seeing Detroit win it all. Right. Now, I will say this. I think we should not count out the Eastern Conference team as far as who makes it to the finals because the West is so stacked. I do think it's going to be a tough run for whatever Western Conference team makes it out. And so there's potentially like where the Eastern Conference team can come out and grab a game or two early. And now we're in a real series. And now belief has also kicked in for the Eastern Conference team. And they really think they can do it. Belief and confidence are so important to winning, right? One thing that I think happened between 17 and 18, right? For the Golden State Warriors. So let's talk about like the KD version of the Warriors, right? 17, they were stomping everybody like that because number one, yes, were they better than everybody? Yes, obviously. But the whole temperament around the NBA at that time, even for other NBA teams, was like, oh yeah, we can't beat them. Like it was kind of accepted. And so when you think like that, it's going to show on the court. Again, I'm not saying that they obviously were dominant. Obviously, great team. Absolutely. But 18 comes around, and then you have this Rockets team who truly believes they can beat the Warriors. And so they compete at a different level because the belief is there. Belief and confidence are very much so needed. Very much so needed. I'm telling y'all. That's part of winning, especially as an underdog. If you don't believe it as an underdog, you might as well not even go out there and play. It's not like you aren't the most talented team. But you have to believe that your game plan is good enough, the team that you have is good enough, and y'all can go out there and execute good enough. All right. Pacers, another team that believed. Got them all the way to the finals. Kind of touched on the Spurs, touched on the Knicks, touched on the Pistons. Pause if needed. That does kind of sound like a wild sentence. Let's talk about Jason Tatum very quickly because I do see that Jason Tatum apparently is scheduled to make his comeback. I think somebody said against the. Let me see. Let me see here real quick. Jason Tatum. All signs are pointing to Friday. Is something I've seen today. This was per Bill Simmons, by the way. Excuse me. So obviously, this changes the dynamic and the look of the Boston Celtics heading into the playoffs. Now, do I believe with Tatum back, do they become the favorite in the East? No. 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 What's up, EMC? What's up to everybody in the chat? Make sure that you like the stream, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the stream, like the stream. I do not think this changes the fortunes for the Boston Celtics this particular season. I know the Celtics have definitely exceeded expectation this year. I know everybody is high on them. I think Joe Mazzulla is obviously one of the leading candidates for Coach of the Year. Jaylen Brown is having a phenomenal season. Peyton Pritchard has really stepped up and fulfilled a role that they needed him to fulfill. Derek White is still one of the best winning role players in the league. Kada has been a big-time addition for them as far as just getting to play now. He's been on the team, but I'm saying since he stepped into the starter center role, he's been fantastic. This team just isn't that talented. They just aren't, right? And so the metrics and the ways that they win games in the regular season, I just feel like once the intensity and attention to detail ratchets up for everybody because it is playoff time and now they're not winning in the margins at such a significant level. Now it's just about, in the playoffs when intensity is pretty much matched, physicality is matched, attention to detail is matched. Now it's about the players on the court, right? And I just feel like the Knicks will have more better players, right? Let's say if you believe that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are better than the Knicks top two and Jalen Brunson and Cat, right? Let's say that. We can even throw in if you think Derek White is better than OG. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. But let's throw that in there, right? Let's throw it in there. Mikal Bridges is a better basketball player than who's the fourth best player for Boston? Peyton Pritchard? Cata's really good. I believe in what Cata's been doing. I don't think he's better than Mitchell Robinson. I don't believe that. I think Josh Hart is then better than whatever next player would be up for the Celtics. To whoever that is. I think who else? You got OG, Cat, Jalen, Bridges, Hart, Robinson. Let me see. Jose Alvarado, you know, probably better than Schuenberger or whatever that left-handed guy is in Boston. Whatever that big name is. Cool player, cool regular season player. Right? But yeah, I don't know, man. I keep reverting back to the idea of why would Boston and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum on a worse team beat a team that just beat them when they had a better team? Yeah, McBride, that is a name I definitely forgot for the Knicks. Like I just the logic isn't logic thing for me. I'm sorry. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown just lost to the Knicks last season, and they had a better supporting cast. Why would I then think that they would come back? And I think the better version of Jason Tatum would be last year as well, because we're getting fresh off Achilles tear, just now playing basketball again in 10 months, Jason Tatum. So I think this playoff run probably going to be a worse Tatum, and you have a worse team. Why would I just assume the Knicks to be victorious? Why would I just, I mean, not the Knicks, the Celtics to be victorious against a team that they just lost to when the Jays had a better team? And one of the Jays were better. Like, I don't know. No. No. That doesn't make any sense to me. Any sense whatsoever. Drew Holiday isn't there anymore. Al Horford's not there. KP's not there. No, absolutely not. If they do it, shout out to them. Shout out to them. But I don't have Boston better than the Knicks. I really don't. Does them being the second seed make sense either? They have a good formula for winning regular season games. That doesn't mean they're the second best team in the East. Sorry. The Knicks not a juggernaut. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. You didn't listen, and so you said that dumb shit. They are objectively a worse team and a worse roster than they were last season. Jason Tatum, in my opinion, is probably going to be a worse player in this playoff than he was in the last playoff and the last season. The Knicks beat the better team. Why would the Knicks lose to a worse team than the team they already beat? That doesn't make any sense. Now, if the Knicks get hurt or something, I guess this also doesn't work because your logic with the Knicks being over the it'd be the same thing. Because I'm saying the Knicks also beat them in the playoffs. What? And I'm not going to sit here and because of record and some metrics be dumb enough to say that this Boston Celtic team is better than they were last year. Because that would be foolish and inaccurate. I'm sorry. This team is nowhere close to the level of talent that they had last year. Nowhere close. So I'm picking the Knicks comfortably in a series against this version of the Celtics. Respectfully. Respectfully. Boston, again, has been the reason why they win games. They don't turn the ball over. They rebound. They get offensive rebounds. They shoot a lot of threes. They apply good ball pressure on ball handlers, really good defensive unit. I got it. Your ranking in a regular season does not put into, in my opinion, is not your ranking as a team. What's up, 32 Heights? Case in point, last year the Rockets were the second seed in the West. Nobody thought the Rockets were the second best team in the West. In fact, everybody was like, "Oh man, can we get to the seventh seed so we play the Rockets in the first round?" So if your only retort to me is, "But they're second in the division," I know that. I still don't think they're the second best team in the East. So there's that. This more like if you had last year's Rockets and added KD. If you think Jason Tatum is going to come back as good as KD in his first 3 months, 2, 3 months of playing basketball, well, actually, he's going to have basically 1 month before the playoffs start. I, look, man, if you believe in Boston, God bless you. God bless you. I hope that comes through for you. I just don't see it this season. I don't. They've played hard, and playing hard, winning on the margins can win you NBA games. Doesn't mean you're a better NBA team than these more talented NBA teams in a playoff setting. I just I just don't believe that. Now, another thing I want to talk about. Let me pull this up real quick because people have been lying, and I don't like liars. People have been lying, and I do not enjoy liars. Let me see if I can pull this up on the spot. Then, yeah, here we go. We got this one, and then we have this one, right? Y'all stay with me because I'm getting somewhere. All righty. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm actually going to share a screen with y'all. Now, where was it in this video? Here we go. Finally found the video, though the part of the video. No, I had to find. I was listening to something in my headphones, so I can find the part of the video I wanted to react to. We're gonna do this live, by the way. It's probably gonna be a YouTube video, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's gonna be a YouTube video. In fact, so let me do an intro. So, Los Angeles Laker fans are lying about Luka Doncic, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. So, here's my good friend, my good buddy, old pal, legend of winning. Here he is saying a sentiment that I do not believe in, right? And we're going to get to somebody else who said this, another good friend of mine. But I disagree with this sentiment, right? So let's talk about it because I feel like this is cope, and I feel like Laker fans have done this with another player, but we'll get into that after we see the clip here.
And finally, I'm also not going to fall for the narrative bait that many of you all took and laid for yourself in the beginning part of the season when you sat there and ran with this narrative of, oh, this is Luka Doncic.
Also, before we get too far into the video, make sure that you like and subscribe. It helps us in the algorithm. Thank you very much. Where is it? Right there. You see it. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when we drop another video when we go live. But let's get back to the video.
In the beginning part of the season when you sat there and ran with this narrative of, oh, this is Luka Doncic's revenge season. He's slimmed down. Oh, he's ready for the year. I'm not doing that. However, as you can clearly see, my expectations aren't that high for him. It wasn't going to change. It wasn't inflated the way that many other people. And even still, there are several moments in this season where I am a bit disappointed in Luka Doncic because he isn't as good as a player as I thought he was going to be. I assume what we saw last year out of him was him dealing with an injury and him not being 100%.
This idea that, oh, well, I didn't think Luka Doncic was going to be that good anyway. And it's like, huh? The last time we had saw Luka Doncic fully healthy, in my humble opinion, he was contending to be the best basketball player on the planet. I know a lot of people think otherwise. I'm sorry. I know what I watched in 2024. I know what I watched. I know what I saw. And Luka Doncic was contending to be and had an argument that particular season of being the best player on the planet. He was that good that year. And also for people to be like, oh, well, that was just one season. Yeah, but this was also a young player who had been a top 5 to 7 player for some time and was just hitting his peak prime years. There was no reason to think that Luka Doncic wouldn't continue getting better as a player, or at least, at the very least, stay where he was at. At the very least. So I disagree with this sentiment now. Right? That, oh man, if you thought Luka Doncic could have been the best player in the league, your expectations are too high. No, they weren't. No, they were not. He was in that talk the last time we saw him healthy. He was in that talk. He was in that conversation. I'm sorry. That's a fact. 24 Luka was that good. He was that good. Now, let's continue.
And to be fair, that could have been true. That very well could have been the reality of who Luka was that season. And so I did expect for there to be an uptick in some type of productivity, ability to get around the basket, shot creation, especially from deep. But no, I'm not seeing that from Luka. The player that I thought I was going to receive was the one that I saw in shades through 23 and 24. And here we are now in 26, and it's just not the same Luka. And shout out to Carson over in Nerd Sesh because he really coined this phrase. So I'm going to take it from you, my brother, but I'm going to give you credit. But Luka is a superstar right now that seems as if like he is missing his superpower. What I mean by that is you have players like Giannis and LeBron who their superpower, regardless of what happens around them, they're always going to give you rim pressure. Curry, his ability to shoot the 3 ball.
I disagree with that. I mean, the superpower is being the best pick and roll player in the league, which is still a fact. He's still the best pick and roll player in the league. So that could qualify as a superpower. But, I mean, yeah, I just, there is no but. I just disagree with that statement. He's the best pick and roll player in the league.
KD, Dirk, MJ, Kobe, their mid-range accessory, and even Shea as well. These are all things that give them an inherent advantage amongst everything else that's happening on the floor. No matter who the teammate is, no matter the floor spacing, the coaching, these are things that will still prevail. And that's what Luka is missing right now. He doesn't have anything that he provides at a certain level that will prevail the poor floor spacing, the lack of a rim running big, the inconsistent help that he may receive from Luka and LeBron. There's nothing that you can just consistently night in or night out rely on Luka. And I think that right there is where there has been a step back from where he once was a couple of years ago. Sure, Luka's finishing numbers are amazing. They're on par with all-time great finishers, even players who are 7-footers. But Luka, from a volume perspective, he just doesn't get to the rim with
116 is crazy low volume. But y'all get the point, right? Y'all get the point. Here's another one of my good fellow brethren. Jonathan D. John D. had a very similar sentiment about Luka Doncic in the too high expectations for Luka Doncic. Here he is talking about it. Let's see what John D had to say.
Possible that you're going to have him at number one. So,
talk to me about I'm not going to have him. I'm not going to have him at number one. Yeah, I fought the good fight with that. Yeah. We won't even. I won't even bother that. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a few things. First off, I want to say a few things about Laker Nation and Luka Doncic and what happens when you don that purple and gold. One, I want to talk about how Luka Doncic has been playing this season. I can understand some people saying they may be disappointed in what Luka has done this year. I would probably ask you, what were your expectations of Luka? Because I remember the same Luka Doncic was running around in the postseason in 23-24, and there were a lot of people saying if he wins the finals, he's the best player in the world. So I would already argue your expectations for him were way too fucking high. Way too fucking high.
Again, how is Luka potentially being the best player in the world at the time? Let's remember at the time. That wasn't a big leap to make. It wasn't. People have quickly forgotten the trajectory of player Luka Doncic was and or is. We'll see. The guy was a top 10 player from year 2 in the league. Year 2. First team all NBA since year 2. He then has multiple great playoff appearances and performances before age 25. Now he has this phenomenal, unbelievable, historic regular season in 24. Sure, that was 2024 wasn't his best playoff run by any means. But we gave him that benefit of the doubt because we'd already seen Luka Doncic perform in the playoffs. And whether his detractors like it or not, he was also hurt during the run. And we all knew that. He had a calf injury. So, I don't know. That to me, that wasn't too far of a leap to make when he had the playoff runs and performances. He's been a top 5 player or around a top 5 player for some time. And then the young 20, how old is Luka in 24? 25? The young phenom has an all-time great season at 24. How is then leap to he's contending to be the best player in the league? How is that a far leap to make? I don't understand. I don't understand that. How was that putting too much expectation on Luka Doncic? When 24, his own play put him in that talk to begin with. His own play. It wasn't Luka fans putting him in that. It was his play. He played that well. %38 from 3 on 10 attempts, 50% in the non-restricted area, I'm pretty sure. Let's look up Luka Doncic numbers. Because I think people have forgot. I think people have forgotten what Luka Doncic was doing in 2024. Yeah, 2024, he was 76% at the rim, 52.5% on short mids, 44% on long mids, and 38% from 3. And had like a 62 true shooting. While being the best pick and roll player in the league, one of the 2 or 3 best passers, and one of the 2 or 3 best playmakers in the association. But I'm supposed to believe that player was at 24. He did that at 24. So, yeah, no. We're not going to rewrite history about Luka Doncic and his expectations. Another player I vividly remember Laker fans doing this too is Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. I remember the 22-23 year, and I participated in it. I'm not going to lie. I sat there and gave AD that bell. I vividly remember the 22-23 year. This was the year that AD was just a flat-out bad jump shooter. Even from mid-range, his self-creation was poor that year, right? And so what started happening, I know some of y'all remember this in the chat and in the YouTube video below in the comments. Let me know if you remember. I mean, AD's just a play finisher, though. He doesn't really he doesn't really get his own baskets and self creates. He's a play finisher. He's always just been a play finisher. That we shouldn't ask AD to self create. You can't ask AD, because AD was having a lackluster season in the self creation, mid-range shooting departments, and now we want to change it up to being like, oh, he was never good at those things. What? How'd that work? No, AD just needs to be better. The expectation wasn't too high because he's the one that said it with his play. We've seen AD hit middies. We've seen AD self-create. What you mean he can't do it? What? What you mean he's always been a play finisher? Huh? Not saying yes, he does definitely play finish. But people there were trying to act like AD has just been super Clint Capella for his career. No, he hadn't. No, he hadn't. He had a way better skill set than that. Right? I feel like this is a level of cope. This is coping. That's what they're doing right now. Coping. We were coping because AD was having a bad self-creation mid-range shooting year. And we're coping right now, acting as if Luka Doncic wasn't in BITW conversations after 24 and expecting him to reach that level of play and player. Yeah, no, my expectations will not be shifting for Luka Doncic. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, no. Just because he's not hitting them doesn't mean I was off in my expectation. Because my expectation is only based off his past history. And his past history tells me that at his best, he is competing for best in the world. He's that level of player. He was that good. I'm not buying into this narrative. I will not. I will not buy into this narrative. No. That man was all-time great in 24. Now I'm supposed to believe, oh no, you're expecting too much from Luka. What? I'm expecting from Luka what I've seen from Luka. That's what I'm expecting. And it's gracious. But hey, y'all let me know down below in the comments if I'm tripping, right? Am I tripping? Where did y'all have Luka in 24? I know where I had him. I know where I have the Don. Let me know down below where you have Luka Doncic in 24. Again, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit that notification bell so you know when we're live and we drop another vid. And until next time, it's been real. All right. That's going to get clipped up. Going to get that out to the masses probably for tomorrow. Now, to our closing remarks, we know that to end every episode, we have a few words. We have some words of wisdom, right? And here's what I have for you today. I've tried to keep these as secular as possible and as worldly as possible. But sometimes I do just, some of these will be containing a little bit of faith talk. I am a Christian. I do believe in God, believe in Jesus. So a few of these that we do, it's gonna be a little word, you know what I'm saying? But often we hear the remarks of faith without works is dead. That is a scripture that people often go to. And the purpose for a lot of people Um, the purpose for that verse for a lot of people is, hey, if you do your part, God will do his. You know what I'm saying? But nothing can be done without you starting the work. That is how that verse is often interpreted. But let me submit um another way to look at that verse. If you have a few minutes, let me give you another way to look at that verse. Again, the verse is faith without works is dead, right? But I think that that can also be interpreted that true faith doesn't start until you've done your work. Okay? True faith doesn't start until you've done your work. I think that sometimes that God can use things to repurpose your faith. Right? God can refocus your faith is a better word that I want to say, better term of saying it. And so sometimes in life, when you start accomplishing things, you start having a lot of success repetitively. You can start to get something of a big head. You can start to feel like things are going well in your life because of you, right? Things happen because you make them happen. Things and positive things are happening in your life because you have the resources to make them happen. And so God can put you in a point in your life. God can put you in a point in your life to show you that things aren't happening on your accord. They're happening because he makes them happen. And so after you use up all of your resources, right? You've used up all of your resources. You've been somebody of high success, and you look around and your resources aren't helping you in a particular scenario. The only place now you can turn is to God. Faith without works is dead. You've done your work, and the shift that you wanted to happen still hasn't happened because you have exhausted all of your resources, but you haven't been paying attention to the resource. You forgot where your resource came from. And so now he has refocused your faith. You did your work, it didn't happen. So now you have to refocus your faith, not amongst yourself, but back to him. Back to him. Back to him. Always have your faith in the right places and in the right things. Never get a big head because there's no difference between you and the next person. There's no difference. There's no difference. There's no difference. Some things are just a matter of luck and opportunity, right? And when you forget that, God will use certain situations to refocus your faith. You started to believe in you a little bit too much. Not saying that you can't have any self-belief, right? Not saying you can't have any self-belief. Self-belief is needed. God wants you to have self-belief, right? Because he also says that The enemy is the one that gives you the spirit of fear, right? He wants his flock to be confident, but confidence, you need to understand where your confidence is coming from and why you're confident. You know what I'm saying? My confidence comes from the fact that I know I'm God's child. You know what I'm saying? And that God is with me. And his rod and staff, they comfort me. You see what I'm saying? But the confidence is based on him. When you get too confident into yourself, that's where things can go awry. When you get the big head, he has to repurpose your faith. He has to refocus your faith. All right? So, if there's a period in your life in which you feel like, hey, I've done the work. I've done the the extra work that I've needed to do. I've exhausted all resources. Why isn't this working? Why isn't there a shift being made in my life? Why am I not seeing the progression that I want to see? Maybe it's because you need to refocus your faith. And see, God has a funny thing of watching you exhaust your resources. So when the shift does happen, you have the reminder that it was nobody but, right? There is no credit to give to yourself on this one. You tried all that you could do, it didn't work. But as soon as you refocused your faith, you saw the shift. You saw what you need. You saw the progression that you wanted. You see what I'm saying? So that's all I have for you today. That's all I have for y'all today. Again, make sure that you like the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Turn that notification bell on so you know when we're live and when we drop another video. Until next time, it's been real. Peace. Oh, wait. I will be live for the Celtics Bucks game because Giannis is back. Oh, Giannis is back. I didn't even talk about that a little bit. Well, maybe next time. We'll see what Giannis looking like. But I will be live for that game. So, yeah, like I said, make sure you have your notification. Oh, wait, there's a super chat. My fault. Best defenders Luka has played with: DFS, rookie D Lively, another tier below PJ Washington, 30-year-old Reggie, 31-year-old Smart, compared to other top fives. Okay. I mean, I guess I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, my thing is more so with Luka as an offensive player than anything this year. I just don't think he's been as to the level of offensive player he was in 24, to just be quite honest with you. I actually think you can even argue 23, honestly. You can argue 23. Because in 23, he actually was averaging more points per 75. Let me see. His accuracy and stuff is around the same. This year is a little bit better. He actually was getting free throw attempts per 100 possessions. This year is at 14.4. In 23, he was at 14.5, which is nuts. If you consider like how much he gets to the free throw line. In 23, he averaged more potential assists per 100 possessions. He was less turnover prone, generated more threes. And let me see. Location. Where is location? Scoring. And in 23, he was double his attempts at the rim as well in 23. He was getting to the rim at twice the rate that he is now. And I think when you get to the rim more, you're a better playmaker as well, in my opinion. That just means you're collapsing defenses more often. In my opinion. It's my opinion. But yeah. I mean, this season probably second or third as far as his regular seasons. It's just definitely not fucking with his best one, like for sure. Now Luka is up to 36% from three. He's been on a heater from three lately. But the problem is now though, y'all. Now the brother can't hit twos. It's like, bruh, why would every time he fix one thing, here goes some other shit. I don't. Damn, man. Let me see. I think somebody said from Christmas. Since Christmas, he's shooting 39.5% from three. And basically 57% from two. Averaging 31 a game, 7 rebounds, 8.5 assists. He's shooting 48.5% from the field. Okay. All right. I can get with these splits. I can get with these splits. I can get with these splits. Yeah. Now, that being said, that's including his January month where he went crazy. I told y'all already, I thought he was the best player in the league in January. So let's start it in February. Let me see. February. Damn, look at this. No. Okay. February to now. February to now, that's 9 games, 45.5% from the field, 42 from three, 49% on twos, 27 a game, around 7 rebounds, 7.7 assists. So the more and more he plays with Luka and Austin, the more his like production basically goes down, which is not surprising. I mean, it is two other players over there. What up, FYF? What's up, Fact Finder? But we'll see. We'll see how Luka closes out this year. It's very unfortunate because I do think if Luka would have had the season I anticipated him having, I think he would be the front runner for MVP right now. If Luka was playing like 24 Luka, I think he would have a real shot at it. But you know. But again, this isn't like Luka, and I do want to be clear. Luka is still one of the lowest I can think of Luka right now is 6. Like that's the because Giannis, Jokic, Shea, Wemby, and then Ant and him. I think he has an argument with Ant and Wemby. So he's still potentially like the 4th best player in the world. Like, so that's, you know, I don't want to make it seem like Luka's just out here just a bum, because that maybe that can be interpreted sometimes in how I speak of him, but this is still one of the absolute best players on planet Earth right now. I just want everybody to know that. I want everybody to acknowledge that. But again, I want people to know that. Like, he's better than Jaylen Brown. I've trolled with the Cade stuff this year. He's better than Cade. He's better than Kevin Durant. Like, he's better than these other players. He's better than them. So I just want us to acknowledge that and know that. He's better than them. So let me go to my let me go to my live. There it is. So Key Wavy, you need to watch your mouth in the chat. You need to watch your mouth in the chat. But yeah, man, okay. I'll be back for the Celtics and what they playing? Oh yeah, the Bucks game. Giannis return. First game back for Giannis, man. I'm looking at seeing what Giannis looks like. Do y'all think Milwaukee can make a little push? You know what I'm saying? Make a little push. Maybe. Oh, no Jaylen Brown. Tomorrow the Lakers play the Pelicans. Not serious. Spurs versus Sixers. Maybe. Thunder versus Knicks will definitely be here Wednesday. And y'all know we're going to be here Thursday for Lakers at Nuggets. Y'all know. Oh, by the way, I'm putting this on record now. The Lakers will be beating the Denver Nuggets Thursday. Especially if Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson not playing. Now, in Lakers tradition, at least one of them will be back to play the Lakers because everybody gets healthy to play the Lakers. So that is to be seen. Realistically, how far the Lakers going, real talk. At best, Bam, I got them winning a round game. I ain't gonna lie. But Thursday, we're beating the Nuggets. The Nuggets can't guard. I don't look for all of the problems with the Lakers. I get it. I got it. Y'all don't understand how easy Nikola Jokic makes offense for the opposing team. Especially a team with like multiple offensive threats. He makes offense easy. And Jonas Valanciunas, to be fair. Niggas talking about Aiden versus Jokic. Jokic just had a game where he had 35, 17, and whatever and lost. You want to know why? Because Minnesota, because he out there on defense. Minnesota had 5 players in double digits. 5 players that had 14. No, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in double digits. That's Denver's problem. Do they have amazing offense? Yes. But they also, their lack of defense and rim protection makes other teams awesome offenses as well. That's their problem. I know the Lakers don't play defense. Denver can't either. And it's still, hey, you still got to guard Luka. Now I'm finna see, y'all getting disrespectful. It's still Luka they got to guard. It's still Austin Reeves. It's still LeBron James. And if you can't guard, shoot. Y'all getting a little too. If Luka runs pick and roll, right, and they have that same coverage they did against Ant, where they're blitzing, and we have LeBron and Austin Reeves working on a 4-on-3 consistently on the backside. Yeah, that's going to lead to elite offense. I'm telling y'all right now, Denver will not be able to guard the Lakers Wednesday night, whatever night that is. Thursday. They won't be able to guard the Lakers. There's going to be a shootout. It's going to be 125 to 128. That's what it's going to be. Denver cannot guard the Lakers. I am 1,000% confident in that. I'm 1,000% confident in that. They can't guard us. Especially without Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson. If Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson don't play, the Denver Nuggets are not beating the Lakers. They're not. Sorry. Exactly. Hey, and for all y'all that are laughing and all that now, when we beat them, make sure y'all bitch asses still pull up. Yeah, pull up. Pull up. That's all I know. Make sure you pull up. When the clock hits 0 and the Lakers are victorious, pull up. Because we'll be here. We'll be here. You think you're gonna beat the Nuggets? Undefeated against the Nuggets since Luka been here, by the way. FYI. FYI. Ain't that. But hey, I'll see y'all later on for the Celtic game. Peace. Damn.